What's going on, party people? Captain Zeus here, and I'm back with another movie review, and this time it's going to be over Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts movie that just released over the weekend. So for those of you that haven't seen it, spoiler warning up ahead because I will be going into some details about it. If you like these reviews, please like the video and subscribe for more reviews like this, and drop a comment below your thoughts on this movie and its implications for the future of the MCU. I'm not going to lie, I originally was one of the people that when this movie was announced and there were some plot points about it that was also announced, I was hating on the movie. Straight up. I thought this movie was going to be absolutely terrible. Thought it was going to be trash. They were like, oh yeah, it's the Thunderbolts name is based off of Yelena's childhood soccer team. And then that, promotional image that we saw where they're all like colorful and laughy, etc. Like, I was like, okay, this is going to suck. Honestly, it's just going to be another Marvel slop that they're just pumping out for the sake of getting shock value. And that was not the case in this movie whatsoever. One thing I will say is, first of all, I love that we went back to, and a lot of people use this quote or use this saying for this movie, is back to making real movies. We're back to going to actual locations and using actual sets and using way less CGI for the films, which I think has always and should have been the way for them to go. And just in general, it's fine to use CGI. If you can film it on a set, I would say film it on a set because it's going to look that much better. We've seen what Marvel does when they use nothing but CGI and it looks absolutely terrible. And this movie just looks so freaking good. Probably one of the best visual movies of the MCU in recent years. One thing that also they do so well in this movie that hasn't been done in a lot of recent Marvel movies, it seems, is just having good writing, a good story, not trying to plug in so many different cameos all over the place. It's not full of that. Yes, there are comedic elements in there, but this is very much a grounded story and a more serious story as well. And one thing that a lot of people have been talking about online that I completely agree with is the fact this movie tackles mental health in such a good way, because it's Sentry's character. I don't know too much about his character from the comics, but I do remember reading on him and his split personalities, and this movie just tackles basically a battle with depression and self-doubt and loneliness and all of these mental health problems that most people have to this day, and it deals with it in a way that's not making fun of anyone like they did with Thor. They made Thor the butt of every joke when he was dealing with probably the lowest point of his entire life. One thing that I don't know if this is even a factor, but some people could argue that the only reason they handled it well was because it was Yelena, a female, in comparison to Thor, who's a male, which I would say would be the case if she was the only one dealing with issues, but she wasn't. Not only was it her, there was also Ghost, John Walker, Red Guardian, Sentry himself, all these characters, even Valentina, the antagonist in the movie, all had a moment or two or several in their past that they had to go back to and deal with and confront to help them go forward. And I think that's another reason this stands out so well. It's not an action-packed movie, although there's plenty of great action in there. It's just, to me, and I could be wrong, to me it's a movie saying it's okay. It's all right to feel the way you're feeling because others are also feeling this way, but you can't just stay lying down after getting knocked out. You got to get back up. And it was an encouraging movie, honestly. I loved the message that I felt it was portraying. It connected very well with me on that. And onto a more, I guess, dirty topic on here. The Void, oh my goodness, gave me chills down my spine. They did The Void so well. I know the director, I think, commented on saying that they used the Hiroshima and Nagasaki shadows as a basis for The Void and his shadow move. A lot of people are upset about that. I don't see why they would feel that way, especially since The Void isn't a hero by any means. This is the definition of being empty. It's the void of emotion, of anything. You're gone. Like, it's just a shadow left. So, I don't know. I feel like it fits. Same time, man, was that... whew. Gave me chills. I think casting for Sentry was definitely spot on. I know a lot of people were excited for Steven Yeun to play Sentry. I was not. Let alone he doesn't look anything like the comic version. The comic version is a white blonde guy, and Steven, well, he's not exactly there. I'm so glad they went with the actor that they chose for this. He portrayed Bob, Sentry, and Void beautifully. So beautifully. And that brings me to what happens in the movie. We kind of know what happened. One thing I did notice is the trailer kind of tells tells you exactly what's happening for the most part. The only thing is, even though it's what the trailer showed, there's so much more to it that gives depth and reference, I guess, to each of the scenes to make it so it's not like the trailer showed you the whole movie. It showed you the general overview, which is kind of what trailers are supposed to do. And after, the team, they got Void sent to his void, if you will. He's gone. Bob's back in control. Valentina, oh my gosh, she would play Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably better than Yami Yugi himself. She pulls a freaking trap card out of her straight cheeks when the Thunderbolts went over to arrest her, and she announces that they're the new Avengers. And I was like, there's no way this is actually gonna stick. No, that's how they do it. They go for the next, 2 minutes plus cutscene, plus the end credit scenes and the end credit montage, if you will. It's literally enforcing the fact that they are the new Avengers, which I know a lot of people were, ever since this movie was announced, they're like, oh, they're gonna be the Dark Avengers. And I was so with that idea, but I know most people were just saying that just to say it. But the fact that they actually ran with that idea to some extent is nuts. I actually kind of like this idea that these guys are the new Avengers, and that's the title they're going by, is the new Avengers. Not only does it fit so well, because you know how there's the OG Avengers, right? And then whenever there's a huge calamity, they have to get a brand new team, and this one has been scrapped together perfectly. I don't know, I feel it's so comic booky the way this has happened, and I love every aspect of it. We have Sentry on there, who is like a support character. It's like, if everything else fails, you're coming in, buddy. But I was surprised that Ghost was in the squad. I kind of hope that they get another member or two, and it's not just Bucky, Yelena, and Guardian. I think it's kind of weird that they have Yelena leading, supposedly. I mean, nothing's confirmed yet, but leading the new Avengers. It would make more sense for Bucky to lead the new Avengers, because he has not only more experience than all of them dealing with Avengers and Avenger type situations, but he's also just the most veteran person in there and has way better leadership skills, in my opinion. But I did think that was weird that they had him take the backseat on that, but he was also a congressman for half a term, but it's funny. The fact that they're the new Avengers is hilarious, but they also, in the end credit scene where all this is being discussed, where they're in their new Avengers Tower, which is just the old Avengers Tower, just revamped, they talk about Sam Wilson not liking this new Avengers group, which is interesting, because in the movie, early on in the movie, they mentioned the events of Brave New World. Now, after the events of the main Thunderbolts movie, it was a 14-month time skip, so about a year and 2 months until this end credit scene conversation that I'm mentioning. And so they're saying that Sam is filing a copyright, which is funny, but he's also not in agreement with this new Avengers group, which is interesting considering that Bucky's on there and he's cool with Bucky, but I know for a fact he's not cool with John. I don't think he'll be cool with Ghost or even Red Guardian and Yelena. I don't think he'd be cool with those people. This brings me to my next question. If Sam makes his own Avengers group, which will more than likely be either the East Coast or the West Coast Avengers, it would probably be the West Coast Avengers, because these Avengers are on the East Coast because they're in New York. But if they become like the West Coast Avengers, which would be cool, who's going to be on his team? Who's going to be on his West Coast Avengers team? Because I know they're also forming the Young Avengers. I know they're forming that group as well. And so I don't know how many movies we have into Avengers Doomsday that'll give us an idea, but I kind of hope that we see another movie to confirm that, because in the end credit scene, the Fantastic Four are coming into the MCU sacred timeline. I don't know how they travel different universes. I'm sure we'll find out in the movie when it comes out. I think this was a great way to introduce a new Avengers team. It really was. I'm just really curious as to what's going to happen next in the MCU, because since Endgame, it seemed like there was absolutely no plan. Even with the Kang Dynasty being built up, Marvel had no idea what they were doing. This movie definitely solidified that there is now a clear goal. That's because they have a Avengers movie to build up to. And that Avengers movie is already filming, so they don't have much time to actually build up to it. And I have no idea how that movie is going to even connect everything together, but we'll have to see. But I would say, I rate this movie a 9 out of 10. I would say this is in my top 10 MCU movies of all time, maybe even top 5, arguably. And I would say this movie has saved Marvel movies, while Daredevil Born Again has saved Marvel television. Those two projects have definitely saved my hopes for the MCU. And it was funny because these were the projects that were going to make or break whether or not the MCU could save themselves from the hole they dug themselves into. And it definitely seems like they have. But that's just my thoughts. What did you guys think? Please let me know in the comments below. Okay, I'm Zeus. Catch you guys later. See you.